Okay, intro to volume. Volume of objects. What is a volume? Volume means how many blocks. That's kind of very simple. How many blocks? It's measured in units with a 3. Units, in other words, cubed. Why does that 3 mean cubed? Well, if it was centimeters squared, that means a square, right? That means this is going to be, if this was 36, this would be 6 times 6 is 36. This is a square. Usually the unit, though, is 1. So 1 times 1 would be 1 unit centimeters squared. It means we call it squared, even though it's a 2. And the reason it's a 2 is because you're multiplying two things, 2 units together. Centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared. So when you're doing a cube, like this, when you're doing a cube, you're multiplying 1 unit, 3 units together. Okay, centimeter, centimeter, centimeter. So if I said 1 centimeter times 1 centimeter times 1 centimeter, what you end up with is centimeters 3, or in other words, we call that a cube because it's shaped like a cube. All right, so that's what we call this little unit up here, centimeters cubed, because it's a cube. Oops. All right, so the 3, we call it cubed. And this thing, we call it squared because it is a square. Call it a cube because it's a cube. All right, so what is volume actually? Volume is how many blocks, how many cubes in a thing. All right, so if I have a very simple shape, rectangular prism, and I said this was 2 by 2 by 3. What does this mean? It means how many cubes are in this thing? Well, if I draw it, this is the length, or the width here is 2, 1, 2. The height is 2, so have 2 blocks here, 2 blocks here, and this would be 3, right? Break this up into 3, 1, 2, 3. Make this line like this. So now we can actually physically count how many cubes are here. We could physically do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So I'm gonna color them as I count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one behind, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, one behind there. Okay, I can't see them all, but if you could, it would be 12. 12 cubes, or 12 blocks. All right, so how many cubes? There's going to be 12 of them. Now, another way to do this is just to multiply them all. 3 times 2 times 2 is going to be, that's 4, that's 12. It's going to equal 12. All right, so introduction to volume. Let's put it very simply. It's how many blocks there are, and it's measured in centimeters or units cubed. Okay, it's measured in units cubed. And how do we usually find it? Well, we have to find how many cubes there are. I'm going to show you how we usually do this. For every different shape, how you want to find volume is you want to think, sometimes people like to say base times height times width. 3 dimensions. Okay, that's where we get the idea of 3D. 3D glasses, it means 3 dimensions. Base times width times height. I did that in a different order. Doesn't really matter the order. When you multiply all of these out together, you're usually going to get the volume of a rectangular prism.